will be fine. Jai Radha. No, that's it. Again. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Nitai pada kamala Koti chandra sushitala Jechaya jagata jurai Nitai pada kamala Murti Chandra Sushitala Jechaya Jagat Jura Nitai Pada Kamala Koti Chandra Sushitala Jechaya Jagat Jurai Nitai Pada Kamala Koti Chandra Sushitala Jaya Jagat Jurai Heno Nitai Bine Bhai Radha Krishna Paitena Drida Kori Koro Nitai Pai Heno Nitai Bine Bhai Radha Krishna Paitena Drida Kori Daronitai Pa Se Sambandha Nahi Ja Brita Janma Kelotar Se Pashu Boro Durachar Se Sambandha Nahita Nita Janma Gelota Ne Pashu Boro Durachar Nitai na bolilo mukhe Majilo samsara sukhe Vidya kule ke kori beta Nitai na bolilo mukhe Jilo samsara sukhe Vidyakule ki koribe ta Ahankara mata hoya Nitai pada pasariya Asatye re satya kori mani Asankara mata hoya Nitaye karuna habe Braje Radha Krishna pabe Daro nitai charana dukhani Nitaye charana satya Tahara sevaka nitya Nitai pada sada koro asha Narotam boro dukhi Nitai more koro sukhi Rakho ranga charanera pasha Nitai pada kamala Haribo Goti Chandra Susitala Jechaya Jagata Jurai Jaya Pancha Tattva, Jaya Pancha Tattva, Jaya Pancha Tattva, Jaya Pancha Tattva. Jaya Nityananda Ram, Jaya Nityananda Ram, Nityananda Ram, Jaya Nityananda Ram. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Translation. The lotus feet of Lord Nityananda are the shelter where one will get the soothing moonlight, not only for one, but of millions of moons. If the world wants to have real peace, it should take shelter of Lord Nityananda. Unless one takes shelter under the shades of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, it will be very difficult for him to approach Radha Krishna. If one actually wants to enter into the dancing party of Radha Krishna, he must firmly catch hold of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. Anyone who has not established his relationship with Nityananda Prabhu is understood to have spoiled his valuable human birth. Such a human being is actually an uncontrollable animal. Because he never uttered the holy name of Nityananda, he has become merged into so-called material happiness. What can his useless education and family tradition do to help him? Being maddened after false prestige and identification with the body, one is thinking, oh, what is Nityananda? What can he do for me? I don't care. The result is that he is accepting something false to be truth. If you actually want to approach the association of Radha Krishna, you must first achieve the mercy of Lord Nityananda. When he is merciful towards you, then you will be able to approach Radha Krishna. Therefore, you should firmly grasp the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. The lotus feet of Lord Nityananda are not illusion, they are a fact. One who engages in the transcendental loving service of Nityananda is also transcendental. Always try to catch the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. This Narottam Das is very unhappy. Therefore, I am praying to Lord Nityananda to make me happy. My dear Lord, please keep me close to your lotus feet. Narottam Das Thakur ki jai, Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Eka Chakra Dham ki jai. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna. Today we will read from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela, Chapter 5, The Glories of Lord Nityananda Balaram, verse number 1. Vande Nandat Phudaishwaryam Shri Nityanandamishwaram Yasyechaya Tat Swarupam Ajnapi Nirupyate. Vande Nandat Phudaishwaryam Shri Nityanandamishwaram Yasyechaya Tat Swarupam Ajnapi Nirupyate. Vande Nandat Phudaishwaryam Shri Nityanandamishwaram Yasyechaya Tat Swarupam Ajnapi Nirupyate. Vande Nandatpudayashwaryam Shri Nityanandamishwaram Yasyechayata Swarupam Ajnanapi Nirupyate Vande Nandatpudayashwaryam Shri Nityanandamishwaram Yasyechayata Swarupam Ajnanapi Nirupyate Vande Nandatpudayashwaryam Shri Nityanandamishwaram Yasyechayata Swarupam Ajnanapi Nirupyate Vande Nandatpudayashwaryam Shri Nityanandamishwaram Yasyechayata Swarupam Ajnanapi Nirupyate. Madajis. Vande Nandatpudayashwaryam Shri Nityanandamishwaram Yasyechayata Swarupam Ajnanapi Nirupyate. Vande Nandatpudayashwaryam Shri Nityanandamishwaram Yasyechayata Swarupam Ajnanapi Nirupyate. Vande Nandatpudayashwaryam Shri Nityanandamishwaram Yasyechayata Swarupam Ajnanapi Nirupyate. Word to word translation. One day, let me offer my obeisances. Ananta, unlimited, Adbhuta, and wonderful. Aishwaryam, whose opulence. Shri Nityanandam, unto Lord Nityananda. Ishwaram, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yasya, whose. Ichchaya, by the will. Tatsvarupam, his identity. Ajnana, by the ignorant. Api, even. Nirupyate, can be ascertained. Translation. Let me offer my obeisances to Lord Sri Nityananda, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose opulence is wonderful and unlimited. By his will, even a fool can understand his identity. Om Jnanatimiraanthasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanutam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanutamsya. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanjana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchagalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Paditanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadha, Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivedanta. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bhute Mahadbhir Yema Puro Vibhu, Nirmaya Shete Yamudusha Purusha, Bhunte Gunan Shodasha Shodagatmaka, Solan Krishishta Bhagavan Vachamsi Me. Hare Krishna. Very fortunate to be in the association on this very, very auspicious day of Nityananda Trayodashi. This is the beginning of the festival season, but here it's always festival season. But still, it's an official mark of the beginning of festival season. Why? We are earnestly longing for the mercy of Lord Nityananda. Nityananda Prabhu ke jai, Eka Chakra Dham ke jai. Why do we need the mercy of Lord Nityananda? Then we can get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, which is pretty much 1 month away from now. And we need the mercy of Lord Chaitanya because then we can approach Shri Radha and Krishna. So this is the pathway. So today is the beginning. So today we can earnestly pray to the Lord for His mercy to allow us to go in deeper into bhakti, to give up our desires for sense gratification. We need strong help from Lord Nityananda. As the song that we sang by Narottam Das Thakur, there is a lot of mention about sense gratification and how that can pull us to this world. And only by taking shelter of Lord Nityananda can one go beyond that. And today is the day. So it is very, very special. And so, I will just start with a small story. Some incident happened. I remember first time going to Eka Chakra Dham. So I went to Mayapur and I didn't know many devotees there. So Chandrasekhar Prabhu was there. I knew Chandrasekhar Prabhu who preaches in China. So he said he can take me to Eka Chakra Dham. And I was with my mother. So both of us went with the Chinese devotees. And I started practicing Krishna consciousness. I was trying to practice Krishna consciousness, chanting 16 rounds, etc. It's the very beginning of my Krishna consciousness. And my mom, chanting 1 or 2 rounds, she hasn't really taken up the process completely. And we went there, and we really liked Eka Chakra Dham. It was so wonderful. The nature is there, and there was a small temple. Now we have a very big temple, very beautiful temple. There was a small temple there, and the devotees there. It was very nice. The Subhak Maharaj was there. He was narrating the pastimes of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. And then we were sitting in the place where Lord Nityananda used to perform his childhood activities, his pastimes, his play. And my mother was not having tilak because she is very new to Krishna consciousness. And all these Chinese devotees, they started putting on her tilak. And then I was thinking, see the mercy of Lord Nityananda. So my mom from India, she doesn't know how to put on the tilak. And here we have devotees from China, and they are putting on tilak on my mother. And I was thinking, oh, this is certainly the mercy of Lord Nityananda and Eka Chakra Dham, because we were in Eka Chakra Dham. So it was very wonderful to really experience the mercy of Lord Nityananda. And years passed, and then by the mercy of the Lord, she got initiated. So we can see how the transformation took place over the time. Everything started from the mercy of the Lord and the devotees. So today, we will start to discuss about the tattva of Lord Nityananda, because that's how Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami opens his chapter in Chaitanya Charitamrita, the 5th chapter, which is depicting the glories of Lord Nityananda Balaram. He very elaborately presents different spiritual realms. Even we can be a bit overwhelmed reading the intricacies of spiritual realm and also very amazing purports of Srila Prabhupada. We understand so much is there about the spiritual world. To start with, we know about Goloka, Vrindavan. And then there is, what's the next loka in the spiritual world after Goloka Vrindavan? Mathura Dham. And after that, Dwaraka Dham. In the Bhauma Leela, the Lord performs his pastimes serially. First in Vrindavan, then in Mathura, then in Dwaraka. But in the spiritual abode, these Leelas are running as parallel process. Everything is running all the time. They are simultaneously running. And everywhere, Krishna is there, Balaram is there, in their different forms of expansions. So, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says that Balaram is none other than Lord Nityananda. So, starting from there, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami establishes the position of Lord Nityananda. He is none other than Lord Balaram, brother of Krishna. In other words, the direct expansion of Krishna. Now, if you try to read more about the spiritual world, there are so many sections of the spiritual world. There is Goloka, there is Gokul, and different kinds of pastime take place in these places. And there is Aishwarya Goloka, where everything is same as Vraja, but Radha and Krishna are married and there is full of opulence. There is Gokul, where also there is Sokiya. There are so many different aspects of the spiritual world. So spiritual world is very intricate and it is designed in such a way that the Lord and his eternal devotees can always experience transcendental rasa in different ways. And now Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami explains the Chaturvyuha who is present in Dwaraka, of which Balaram is present, he is the Sankarshan, he expands into Lord Narayan. He further expands into the second Chaturvyuha. Who are they? Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna and Aniruddha. 4 of them, right? 4 of them. And it is mentioned that that's not the end. They again expand into 24. So it is like it's called Avarana, Kavacha. So there is Narayan, Sloka in the middle of Vaikuntha, and then there is one covering of different incarnations, expansions, the quadruple expansion, the Chaturvyuha. And they expand further. There is another circle where there are so many other expansions of the Lord. And then they expand further into another expansions of the Lord. So if you see Vaikuntha, it is amazing. So many expansions in Vaikuntha itself. And even there are demigods like Ganesh. And different demigods who are Durga, they are present in the spiritual world, not as the demigods, but as associates of the Lord in the spiritual form. So, if you even see the spiritual world, it is very amazing. And here, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, Narayan himself is none other than an expansion of Lord Nityananda. And Narayan's expansion, the Mahasankarshan in the spiritual realm, he is also an expansion of Lord Nityananda. He is considered the shelter of all jivas who expands himself into Mahavishnu, Karanodakashaya Vishnu, Purushavatars. So, Nityananda is the source of all Purushavatars. So, why it is mentioned in this way? To understand the glories of Lord Nityananda. So don't think Nityananda is an ordinary person because he performs pastimes which no one can understand. Because he's Avadhuta. What is the meaning of Avadhuta? Avadhuta means he can do anything. He doesn't follow any rules and regulations. In his pastimes, Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda had a discussion, and Lord Chaitanya told, now you can take sannyas. Lord Nityananda took sannyas. He became a sannyasi. Then what happened later? Later, Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda had another discussion. And Lord instructed him to get married. Can you see? So, on a material platform, it is unacceptable. And no one can understand how the Lord is performing such pastimes. So Nityananda is beyond normal rules and regulations. So some may consider Lord Nityananda to be an ordinary person. However, that is not the case. He is the Supreme Lord, and to establish this, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami quotes verses from the diary of Swarup Damodar Goswami. So that is right in the beginning of Chaitanya Charitamrita, the seed verses where it is mentioned, this Karanodakashai Vishnu, from him all the universes are emanating in the seed form. Not 1 millions, trillions of universes are emanating from the body of Karanodakashai Vishnu, Mahavishnu. And that Mahavishnu is only an expansion of Nityananda Balaram. And he explains further, the Lord who is the source of Brahmaji, Garbhodakashai Vishnu, he is only an expansion of Nityananda Balaram. And the Lord who is situated in everyone's heart as Paramatma, Kshirodakashai Vishnu, is expansion of Nityananda Balaram. In this way, to show that who is this great personality, Lord Nityananda. So before entering into pastimes of Lord Nityananda, Kaviraj Goswami wants to make sure that we understand the glories of Nityananda Balaram. Nityananda Prabhu ki jai. We will hear some of the glories of Nityananda Ram further. It is mentioned that Lord Nityananda, as Balaram, further expands as Anantadev, who is situated at the bottom of the universe in Rasatal. What is he doing? He is carrying. What is he carrying? No? Oh yes, he is carrying Lord Vishnu, that's true. But at the bottom of the universe, what is he doing? What is he carrying? Whole earth, not just earth. What else? Whole universe. And all the universes. And does he feel sometimes heavy? Too heavy carrying the whole universe? No. What is the analogy that is given? Just like carrying a white mustard seed. So many mustard seeds are there. If there is a mustard seed on top of my head, I will not know probably. But if there are too many mustard seeds, I will know. But for Nityananda Ram as Anantadev, it doesn't really matter. That actually shows the mood of Anantadev. He is supporting all the jivas and the resting place so that they can be transformed. Not only that, one more thing, at least, Anantadev is doing at the bottom of the universe. What is that? Harikatha. He is continuously glorifying the Supreme Lord, and there is no end to it. It is mentioned that from the beginning of creation, from the time of eternity, Anantadev is glorifying the Lord, but still he hasn't come to the end of the Lord's glories. So it is mentioned that there is a transcendental competition between Krishna and Balaram. What is the competition? Balaram wants to glorify Krishna, but Krishna's glories are unlimited. Not just unlimited, the glories are expanding. So Balaram is trying to catch up. So Balaram, he is the Supreme Lord, he is trying to catch up, but Krishna's glories are even further increasing. So this transcendental competition is running all the time. So this is the nature of Ananta, and that's why his name is Ananta, unlimited. He has unlimited spiritual strength, and he is glorifying the Lord unlimitedly. Not only that, his name is Shesha. Shesha, what's the meaning of Shesha? Yeah, that which remains. That which remains. In other words, that which is always present, eternally present. So he's eternally glorifying the Lord and there is no end to it. So this is the nature of Anantadev. And Anantadev is very interesting because he wants to serve the Lord in numerous ways, that he expands further to serve the Lord. You know what is an expansion of Anantadev? It can sound a bit contradictory. Who knows? Who is an expansion of Anantadev to serve the Lord? Because his whole purpose is to glorify the Lord and to serve the Lord. So he expands into another personality who is very famous. No. Who can fly? Garuda. So Garuda Dev is an expansion of Ananta. So usually we say that Garuda is after snakes. He wants to eat snake. That is for his breakfast. For his lunch also, he likes. But where is Garuda coming from? Garuda is an expansion of Anantadev. Why he expands? He wants to serve the Lord in different ways. So this is the nature of Ananta. And who is none other than Nityananda Balaram. So it is mentioned that the Lord expands himself to serve the Lord. How many expansions are given of Balaram or Lord Nityananda to serve the Lord? There are 9 expansions. Starting from his umbrella. The Lord has an umbrella. Who is that? The Lord Balaram, Lord Nityananda. Then his shoes, his bedding, his pillow. Think about what kind of intimate service the Lord is doing. Or see that transcendental desire by which the Lord, Balaram, Nityananda is expanding to serve the Lord. Then his garments, his resting place. So he wants a resting place, and that's the reason. The Lord wants a resting place, and that's the reason Anantadev expands further as Garuda. And when Garuda, he swings, wings, what happens? What happens? Okay, there is breeze. And what the breeze carries? Yes, the sound of the Vedic, the Samaveda, the Rigveda, the Vedic sound comes from Garuda. So Garuda is flapping, but the Vedic sound is coming. So what is the purpose of Vedic literature? It's to glorify the Lord. So even when the Garuda is flapping his wings, what is happening? He is glorifying the Supreme Lord. Can you try to understand, try to think about the way in which Garuda is serving the Lord. And he is the sitting place. It is mentioned when Gajendra was in such a precarious condition, he was about to be killed by the crocodile. It's a pastime. It is mentioned Garuda was very concerned, and immediately he took the Lord. It's mentioned that it was just like that. The Lord was present. So Garuda was very active. Garuda couldn't understand what was going on. So this is the way in which Garuda is serving the Supreme Lord. Then further as ornaments, and then sitting place. So see, and residence of the Lord. Everything is expansion of Lord Balaram. Everything. Whatever is in the spiritual world, that's why it's mentioned. There is this verse from Brahma Samhita, Anantamsha Sambhavam. The whole, when it is mentioned about the whole spiritual world, Brahma Samhita says it is Anantamsha Sambhavam. The whole spiritual world is a creation of a partial energy of Ananta, referring to Lord Balaram. That's why when we perform Abhishek, or if you do Saligram Puja or any puja, when we do Mandala, we are actually representing the spiritual world. And in that, there is a worship, there's a special worship for Anantadev. So wherever we are worshipping, that place where the Lord is sitting, today we have Abhishek. So where the Lord is sitting, that is the spiritual world. The Lord can be, for Abhishek, he is sitting in the spiritual world. He's in the altar, he's sitting in the spiritual world. Or as a super soul, he's sitting in everyone's heart. There is also a spiritual world. So that is Anantamsha Sambhava. And that's why before installation, there is always worship of Anantadev. Before building any temple, there has to be the puja for Ananta, because the spiritual world is manifestation of Ananta's energy, Lord Balaram's energy. So see the strong desire of Lord Nityananda to serve the Lord. And we will see further. Not only that, Lord Balaram serves Krishna in all four rasas. He serves the Lord in Dasya, because we can see he is providing everything for the Lord's service, including all the paraphernalia, and he serves personally. Then Lord Balaram serves the Supreme Lord in Sakhya, because Balaram is a very dear friend of, the best friend of Krishna. It's mentioned, Lord Nityananda is the most dear personality to Lord Chaitanya. So the same relation. So as a friend, then as a parent, because Lord Balaram is older brother. Since he is the older brother, he wants to take care of Krishna. So Mother Yashoda is very concerned if Lord Balaram doesn't accompany Krishna. We know some problems happened when Lord Balaram didn't accompany Krishna to the forest. Which pastime is that? Yeah. Kaliya, Brahma Vimohana Leela. Lord Balaram was not there. Why? Because it was his birthday. So like that. So Mother Yashoda is only satisfied if Balaram accompanies Krishna as an older brother. So that is the parental affection. And in conjugal relationship, Balaram expands himself into Ananga Manjari. So in that way, the Lord serves Krishna even in Madhuri Ras. So we can see that the desire of the Lord is to serve always Krishna. And here, Lord Nityananda Prabhu manifests the same mood, who is none other than Lord Balaram. So Lord Nityananda Prabhu was born in Ekachakragram as a son of Hadai Pandit and Padmavati. It is mentioned, the whole village became so attracted to Nityananda Prabhu. Seeing the beauty of Nityananda Prabhu, everyone was practically crying. They were taken aback seeing the beauty of the Lord. His beautiful face, his activities, the way he spoke, it is exactly like Krishna, exactly like Balaram. And it's mentioned that the whole village considered Nityananda Prabhu to be their son. Just like in Gokul, the whole Brajabasi is considered Krishna and Balaram as their children. In the same way, in Ekachakragram, everyone considered Lord Nityananda as their own son. And he was growing up, he was only a few years old. But the arrangement of the Supreme Lord, a sannyasi visited the house of Hadai Pandit. So Hadai Pandit, an exalted Brahmana, served the sannyasi very nicely, and overnight he stayed. Next day, the sannyasi was about to leave. That time, Hadai Pandit asked this sannyasi, "What do you want? How can I serve you?" So the sannyasi told, "I need a help. I need your son, Nityananda, to travel with me. I am going to the whole holy places in India, and I want a Brahmin assistant, and I don't have a Brahmin assistant, and I can see that your son is very qualified, so I need him to travel with me, to assist me." It is mentioned, it was like a thunderbolt striking on the head of Hadai Pandit. He was almost fell unconscious hearing these words. He was thinking, how can I live a life without Nityananda? And how can I tell this to my wife that this sannyasi is going to take our son? He said, how can I say no to the sannyasi? Because by that, all the devotion, all the culture, all the tradition, everything is going to ruin. So I have to say yes, that is the culture. But how can I do this? So he told his wife, Padmavati, and Padmavati immediately told, whatever you like, you can do. I will not say no. So this is even though she was completely devastated, she didn't tell anything, she didn't oppose, nor Hadai Pandit. They gave their son to this sannyasi. And it is mentioned that eventually the whole Ekachakra gram, every resident, they died out of separation from the Lord. Can you imagine? One by one, they were leaving the body. They were feeling so much of separation from Nityananda Prabhu. And Nityananda Prabhu never returned to Ekachakra gram. It is mentioned. Then he didn't come back. He didn't see his nothing. So that was the meaning. This is the arrangement of the Lord. This is the arrangement of the Lord. We can see. There's such a separation. They couldn't live a life. And Nityananda Prabhu traveled everywhere. He knew perfectly the desire of the Lord. The purpose of Sankirtan Yajna, that is the purpose the Lord is going to incarnate. The Lord hasn't arrived yet. So Nityananda Prabhu was preparing himself to join the Sankirtan party of Lord Gauranga Mahaprabhu. He traveled throughout India. He went to all holy places, just like the pilgrimage of Lord Balaram after killing Ramaharshana Sutta. He traveled throughout India in the same way Lord Nityananda traveled to the north, to the west, to the east, to the south. Everywhere he traveled. He was still waiting for the order of Lord Gauranga. So this is the position of Nityananda Prabhu. Even though he knew the mission of the Lord, he knew his service, he was simply waiting for the Lord to start Sankirtan. However, it is mentioned, whenever Lord Nityananda spoke to anyone, he spoke with so much of compassion. In his journey, he met Madhavendra Puri and he got his initiation from Madhavendra Puri. It is mentioned, when these two personalities met for the first time, both of them fell unconscious. Can you imagine? And then slowly they came to external consciousness, they embraced each other, and eventually Nityananda Prabhu took Madhavendra Puri as his spiritual master. And eventually he went to Vrindavan Dham. And Nityananda Prabhu was staying in Vrindavan Dham when Gauranga Mahaprabhu took birth. And he was in ecstasy. Still he was waiting. He was waiting till the time Gauranga Mahaprabhu started his Nagar Sankirtan in Navadvip. When Lord Gauranga started Nagar Sankirtan, Nityananda Prabhu understood, this is the time to serve the Lord. This is the mission of the Lord. And so, he went to Navadvip and he hid himself in whose house? Very near to ISKCON temple. Nandanacharya's house, isn't it? Have you been to Nandanacharya? Very near ISKCON temple, right? If you go to the gate left, go inside, there is a house of Nandanacharya. And Nandanacharya was an exalted devotee of the Lord. He was an ardent follower of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he was sitting there, he was simply chanting the glories of the Supreme Lord. The same time, Gauranga Mahaprabhu told his associates, I had a dream. This dream was very unique because in my dream, a chariot arrived. And the chariot had a flag, and from the chariot, an effulgent personality came down. That personality had white complexion, and he was wearing beautiful flower garlands. He was decorated with ornaments. He had beautiful tilak, and his body was just like very strong built. And it's mentioned his body was just like a column, strong column. And he had serpentine arms. He was wearing blue dhoti and blue chadar. So it looks like Lord Balaram has arrived here. So, my dear devotees, Lord Chaitanya told, you go and find these great personalities. He may be in the form of a mendicant, maybe a sannyasi, but find this great personality and bring him to me. Haridas Thakur, Advaita Acharya, all this Srivasacharya, all of them started going here and there, looking for Lord Nityananda. They went everywhere. They went to the nook and corner of Navadvip, but they couldn't find. They all came back. So Lord Chaitanya smiled. He said, okay, I'll find him. He's like a thief. He's hiding himself. So let's start a big Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. So the Harinam Sankirtan started, Lord Gauranga started chanting, all the devotees started playing Mridanga and Kartal. There was a big procession going through Navadvip. She was going here and there. Finally, when they reached the house of Nityananda, Nityananda Prabhu couldn't resist. He came out from his hideout. He just came out. And first time, both the lords met each other after a long time. When both of them met, it is mentioned, both of them became stunned in ecstasy. Both couldn't do anything. Both were stunned in ecstasy. After that, they started shedding tears. Then they embraced each other. And then it is mentioned that Gauranga Mahaprabhu took Nityananda Prabhu and put him on his lap. So all the devotees started glorifying this. They said, see the most wonderful pastime that is taking place here. Because usually Lord Ananta carries the Supreme Lord. Isn't it? Everywhere you can see Ananta carrying the Supreme Lord. And here, Ananta is being carried by the Supreme Lord. See what's happening. They said, this is to decrease the pride of Ananta Dev. Gauranga Mahaprabhu is carrying the Ananta Dev on his lap to decrease his pride. And there was a big Sankirtan yajna happening there. In this way, all the devotees went into ecstasy. And then onwards, Nityananda Prabhu became the part of the Sankirtan team. He became the most prominent personality in Sankirtan. Now, explaining further about Lord Nityananda Prabhu. Lord Chaitanya appeared in the mood of Srimati Radharani, isn't it? That's why he is Krishna Varnam Tusha Krishnam. Radha Bhava Dyuti Suvalitam Naumi Krishna Swarupam. He came in the mood of Srimati Radharani at the same time to act in the mood of Srimati Radharani. He chose Nityananda Prabhu. Indeed, Srimati Radharani is Jaganmata. She is the mother of the universe, and so she is so compassionate to reclaim conditioned souls who are suffering in this world. So she wants to see that everyone goes back home, back to Godhead. That is her desire. That is the desire of Srimati Radharani. In Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, when we hear the story of Gopakumar, at the end, towards the end, we hear the glories of Srimati Radharani. You know the journey of Gopakumar. He goes from one loka to the other loka, hierarchically all the way up to Goloka Vrindavan, near Govardhan. So in this journey, finally it is mentioned, how Gopakumar was able to go to Golokadham, because he was born here and then he was going to one loka after another loka. He gets a better birth. After better birth, he goes to the Swarga loka, he goes to the Jana loka, Tapa loka, finally Brahma loka, then to different abodes of the Lord, including Vaikuntha, Ayodhya. Finally, he reaches Goloka Vrindavan. So towards the end, it is mentioned that Gopakumar originally belongs to the family of Srimati Radharani. And she wanted Gopakumar to go back home, back to Godhead. So finally, Krishna himself came as Gopakumar's guru and instructed him, gave him the Gopal mantra. Can you imagine? So it is starting from the mercy of Srimati Radharani. She is the Jaganmata. She wants to see that everyone perfect the life and go back home, back to Godhead. And now for Lord Gauranga to reach out to all kind of people, especially the downtrodden, he used Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Who did Lord Chaitanya preach to primarily? Big scholars like Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Prakashananda Saraswati. And he even preached to the demigods. When he was traveling in India, it is mentioned, Lord Gauranga would go to the middle of a village and there will be a big kirtan. And whoever saw this kirtan, they all became pure devotees. these pure devotees, they went to their respective villages, they all became pure devotees. So the Sankirtan Yajna was going on in this way, but it is mentioned that great demigods came from the heavenly planet in the form of Brahmanas and other great Vaishnavas in South India, and they all got delivered by the mercy of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So that's why it's mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita that Gauranga preached to the all three worlds and he delivered the whole three worlds. However, to reach to all the low class people, Lord Chaitanya chose Nityananda Prabhu. We know the pastime of Jagai and Madhai. In the pastime of Jagai and Madhai, they were great Brahmanas. They were exalted Brahmanas by birth. But what happened to them? They became most sinful people. There was no sins that they hadn't performed. So many sins they performed. And then finally, we know the pastime in which finally Madhai attacked Lord Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda Prabhu came for the second time and requested Jagai and Madhai, please chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. What did Madhai said? Madhai became so angry that he took the pot and he stuck the forehead of Nityananda Prabhu. He was wounded and he was bleeding. Same time, Jagai said, please don't do this. He's a saintly person, don't attack. He forbade Madhai. So Nityananda was very pleased with Jagai for forbidding Madhai. Still, he didn't take any offense from Madhai. When Gauranga Mahaprabhu came, knowing this, he wanted to kill both Jagai and Madhai. Immediately Nityananda Prabhu told, Jagai helped me. Nothing happened, he was helping me. And he, interestingly, even before, Nityananda Prabhu told that, so I know that these drunkards have attacked you and wounded you. You know what was the response of Nityananda Prabhu? Nityananda Prabhu said, no, they didn't do anything. So Lord Chaitanya asked, then how come there is a big wound? Nityananda Prabhu told, I fell down and I hurt myself. This was the response of Nityananda Prabhu. This actually shows the compassion. This shows the compassion. He wanted to deliver Jagai and Madhai. So this pastime started by the mercy of Lord Nityananda, because at the first place, Nityananda Prabhu told Haridas Thakur, if we can deliver this Jagai and Madhai, then glories of Lord Chaitanya would go far and wide. And so we want to deliver the most sinful personalities. So Nityananda Prabhu tried to cover Jagai and Madhai. And then indeed he glorified Jagai. And immediately Lord Chaitanya gave mercy to Jagai. It's mentioned, when Jagai embraced Lord Chaitanya, momentarily Lord Chaitanya's body became dark in complexion because he absorbed all the sins. So suddenly he became Shyam Sundar. And then he came back to Gauranga Mahaprabhu's form. So Nityananda Prabhu begged to Lord Chaitanya, you cannot kill these people, because in Kali Yuga, everyone is going to be Jagai and Madhai. We don't have any scarcity for Jagai and Madhai. We were also Jagai and Madhai. By the mercy of Lord Nityananda, we are here. But we were also Jagai and Madhai in different shapes, different forms. So given that, he told the Lord, please show compassion. Please transform the inner desires. In this way, Jagai became a devotee. And then Lord Chaitanya said, I will not give mercy to Madhai. Only Lord Nityananda can give mercy to Madhai. And Madhai fell at the feet of Lord Nityananda, and Nityananda embraced him and gave him the complete mercy. And then Lord Chaitanya accepted Madhai as well. We had to see the transformation of Jagai and Madhai. It is mentioned they became such an exalted devotees that they were crying in ecstasy. They were rolling on the ground. They became such exalted devotees. And all the devotees in Nadia, they were seeing who were Jagai and Madhai before and see them. And that's where Madhai became so remorseful even after this. He was thinking, I attacked Lord Nityananda. I am a sinful person. So he approached Lord Nityananda Prabhu and he fell at the feet and he said, I am a sinful person because I attacked you and wounded you. So what service can I do for you? So he was begging Lord Nityananda. Lord Nityananda said, As a kind father, if a child does something to me, a father never takes offense. In the same way, I never took offense of your acts. And the prayers that you are offering, if anyone hears, they develop faith in me. This was the power of Madhai. Think about Madhai who attacked Lord Nityananda. Lord is telling, if you hear your prayers, they become my devotees. And since you are earnestly requesting for service, I'll give you a service. You can make a ghat for the devotees in Ganga, and you can assist the devotees in taking bath. So that's why it's mentioned, Madhai went to the bank of Ganga. He started making a ghat with his own hand. He digged and he made a ghat by himself. He worked for a long time. He made a ghat for the devotees to take bath. And when a devotee comes, what Madhai would do? Take their cloth, fold their cloth, he pay obeisances, take the dust from their feet, assist them in bathing. Like that, he was assisting all the devotees in Nadia. And it is mentioned, the whole life, Madhai stayed on the bank of Ganges and he remained a brahmachari. Can you imagine the transformation of Madhai? So this is the mercy of Lord Nityananda. So we can see the mercy of Lord Nityananda in all of our lives. If you see that we are now chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, it is only by the mercy of Lord Nityananda. That's why Srila Prabhupada said, this preaching mission, ISKCON, is carrying the mercy of Lord Nityananda. So the devotees who are spreading the glories of Lord Chaitanya, they are representing Lord Nityananda. They are carrying the mercy of Lord Nityananda. It is mentioned that if you worship Lord Nityananda, the glories of Lord Chaitanya become manifest. If the glories of Lord Chaitanya to manifest and to spread, we had to take shelter of Lord Nityananda. That is the glory of worshipping Lord Nityananda. And it is mentioned that we have two important biographies of Lord Chaitanya. What are they? What are those books? Two important. Chaitanya Charitamrita and Chaitanya Bhāgavatam. Who instructed Vrindavan Das Thakur to write Chaitanya Bhāgavatam? Do you know? Lord Nityananda. Can you see? Lord Nityananda wants to hear the glories of Lord Chaitanya. He came in the dream of Vrindavan Das Thakur, who is none other than Vyasadeva, and instructed him to write Chaitanya Bhāgavatam. And Chaitanya Bhāgavatam elaborately describes the early pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, and he doesn't go much further after his sannyas because he couldn't describe further because that will give pain to the devotees. After sannyas, he leaves Mayapur, Navadvip, and the devotees are in pain of separation. So he didn't want to describe that. It is mentioned, even the barber who shaved Gauranga Mahaprabhu in the process of taking sannyas, he became mad ecstatically, not normal madness, ecstatically mad. He threw all his equipments, all his tools. He said, I'm not going to shave anyone anymore. Because he was so much pained to shave the head of Lord Chaitanya because his beautiful hair, the Lord's body is Sachidananda, so his hair is also Sachidananda. And he had to shave off that Sachidananda hair. He became mad after that. So in this way, the devotees were in pain seeing the sannyas ceremony of Lord Chaitanya. There was a personality called Purushottam Pandit, Founder-Acharya. Seeing the sannyas ceremony of Lord Chaitanya, he left Navadvip, he went to Varanasi and he took sannyas. He said, I don't want to live in this world. He left and he became Swarup Damodar Goswami. Later he joined Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri. So he was hidden, he was in a hideout. And when Lord Chaitanya went to South India and when he returned to Jagannath Puri, he came and he became the assistant of Lord Chaitanya. He was an intimate associate of Lord Chaitanya in Navadvip. But when Gauranga Mahaprabhu took sannyas, he couldn't stand. He just left. He himself took sannyas. So it was a big thing. That's why Vrindavan Das Thakur said, no, I cannot write this so much because this is painful for the devotees. And then, which is the next biography? Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Who inspired Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami to write Chaitanya Charitamrita? Again, Nityananda Prabhu. See, who is inspiring? Who is behind the glories of Lord Chaitanya? Who wants to broadcast the glories of Lord Chaitanya? Lord Nityananda Prabhu. He also again came in the dream of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. In what form? Who remembers? In the form of a cowherd. He came in the form of a cowherd. In blue garments, he had his flute in his hand. He had his shringa and all the cowherd boys. And he had some pan in his mouth, betel nuts. And he was just glorifying the Lord. And he came with the whole team and told Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, get up, you go to Vrindavan. Enough of sleeping. You go to Vrindavan. There you will get the siddhi, you will get the perfection of your life. It is mentioned, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami didn't wait for anything. He just got up from the sleep, he started walking. That's all. And how old was Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami? He was practically invalid. He himself says, I cannot see properly, I cannot hear properly, I cannot walk properly. But he walked all the way from Navadvip, Mayapur to Vrindavan. We catch a flight. Usually even we think, there's not enough time. We don't want to go by train. Better to catch a flight. That's what we think. But he walked all the way. And there he got his perfection of life by writing Chaitanya Charitamrita. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami mentions the end of 5th chapter of Adilila that by the mercy of Lord Nityananda, I got Vrindavan. I got the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. So that's what we read in the Nittai Padakamala, that by the mercy of Lord Nityananda, one can get the lotus feet of Shri Shri Radha and Krishna. So this is the blessing of Lord Nityananda, because by the blessing of Nityananda Prabhu, the material desires in the heart becomes vanquished. And then only we can chant properly. If we want to enter deep into bhakti, we have to deal with our material desires. And they are very, very strong. So we need to really beg to the Lord for that. Nityananda Prabhu accept the role as a guru. He is the Adi Guru. Balaram is the Adi Guru and Nityananda Prabhu is the Adi Guru. And that's why he is Akrodha Paramananda Nityananda Rai. Is Akrodha. He become never angry. Opposite to Lord Balaram. Right? Balaram can become angry. We had a painting here. Usually we had the painting. We always used to refer to that painting. But now it is in Aniruddha Prabhu's office. And because of some diplomatic reasons, it has been taken away from here. We can be criticized unnecessarily for attacking a woman. So it has been taken from here. So Lord Balaram can become angry. He wanted to enjoy in Yamuna and Yamuna Devi didn't come. He took the plow and told, okay, I'm going to bring you here. So that is Lord Balaram. Lord Balaram can become angry and he killed Lomaharshana Sutta, right? Because he didn't give proper respect. But when he came as Nityananda Prabhu, he showed how a guru should be. It's mentioned in the 5th canto of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, the instruction of Rishabdev, that a guru has to keep giving instructions despite the disqualifications of the disciples. So guru cannot just become angry and throw away the disciples, because the disciples will not be qualified. They have to show mercy. So Nityananda Prabhu takes that role. Nityananda Prabhu takes that role. And that's why he is the Adi Guru. We know the pastime of Raghunath Das Goswami. I will not tell the whole pastime, but he was trying so hard to get the association of Lord Gauranga Mahaprabhu. He was from this wealthy family. He was trying to run away from home. One time he ran away and he approached the Lord to get the shelter of Lord Chaitanya. So Lord Chaitanya said, no, you go, you act normally. You meditate on me internally, but externally you act as a proper grihastha because you have got a wife. You act properly. So Raghunath Das Goswami acting as a normal grihastha, and then he got the confidence of his father and the relatives that, okay, he's not going to run away. He's going to be with his beautiful wife and we have immense wealth. And then this festival happened. What is that festival? Yes, in this festival, it was on the bank of Ganges, and it is mentioned Lord Nityananda Prabhu was sitting in the middle, and there was first circle of his intimate associates, and around that there was the next circle, and then the next circle. In this way, Lord Nityananda was with all his associates, and it is mentioned it was going all the way into the Ganges. So some people were sitting inside the Ganges. So many associates of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. And Nityananda Prabhu, and there were these pots of chip rice, yogurt, sweets, so many items. And Lord Nityananda, he invoked Lord Chaitanya. No one could see, only pure devotees could see, or some of them could see Lord Chaitanya being present. Lord Nityananda would seek the sweet preparations. He'll just offer to Lord Chaitanya. People will think, what's happening? So he will just take this, offer to Lord Chaitanya, and then he'll eat himself. And then he'll give to everyone. Like that, he was giving the Maha Prasadam to everyone. So they understood Nityananda is Avadhut, so he can do anything. But actually he was offering to Lord Chaitanya and giving and then he was honoring himself and passing on to everyone. So in that festival, Raghunath Goswami was there. He organized the festival. So he asked, you are there, okay, come. He called him up. He gave the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. And that's how he said, soon you will be able to get the shelter of Lord Chaitanya. This was the blessing of Lord Nityananda. And then we know, one day there was this big yagya taking place. It was going overnight. So his Acharya was performing the yagya. Towards the end, everyone was becoming a bit sleepy. Even his family guru, the Raghunath Goswami's family guru, was also feeling a bit dozy. He was taking a short nap that time. Raghunath Goswami started running all the way to Vrindavan. Can you see? So this is the mercy of the Lord. He just ran away. So by the mercy of Lord Nityananda, one can get Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So that's why, how to get the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu? There are multiple ways. Okay, there are first what we need. How to get the mercy of Lord Nityananda Prabhu? Yes, that is there. Before that, we have to get connected to Lord Nityananda Prabhu through the representatives of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. So through Srila Prabhupada, through the Guru Vrind, through the disciplic succession, we had to get connected to the Guru Parampara. That is very important. By that we can get the mercy of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. And also, how to get the mercy of Lord Nityananda Prabhu? To assisting Lord Nityananda Prabhu in delivering so many Jagais and Madais of this world, including ourselves. By that, we had to take some step for ourselves, to purify ourselves, because we have so many problems within. So if we take the right steps, and if we help others, by that one can get the mercy of Lord Nityananda. By that we can get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. By that we can get the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. So this is the parampara. So parampara is following in the footsteps of Nityananda Prabhu. And if we have many devotees in our community engaged in preaching activities. So the actual mercy of Nityananda Prabhu means expanding the preaching movement. So that is the instruction of Srila Prabhupada. Expanding the mercy of Lord Nityananda through the preaching. And we can see that those who are preaching in our movement, Srila Prabhupada, empowered by Nityananda Prabhu. And even now, the preachers in our Krishna conscious society who are able to deliver so many people, there are powerful preachers in our Krishna conscious society. They are able to inspire so many people. They are empowered by Nityananda Prabhu. Without the empowerment of Nityananda Prabhu, no one can preach. So this is the point. So today, we may not have any qualification, and that is the good qualification to approach Nityananda Prabhu. If we feel that we have qualification to approach, then we don't have qualification. If we feel we don't have any qualification, that is the qualification to approach Nityananda Prabhu. So soon, we will have Abhishek for Gauranitai, and then there will be offerings, and then the arati and the big feast. So we have the whole programs lined up to glorify Lord Nityananda Prabhu and for us to earnestly beg for the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, because we really need it. So here the point is, if we feel we need it, we will get the mercy. If you don't have that feeling of need, then it is very difficult to get the mercy. So what we need to cultivate is the need. I really need the mercy. I have so many different kinds of problems that I have to deal with. So I need the mercy, and then we can get the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. And that's why Prabhupada explains the song of Narottam Das Thakur, Nitai Padakamala, Kodi Chandra Sushitala. Kodi Chandra Sushitala. One moon is known for coolness, because we are suffering in the material existence. This is Kodi Chandra. Millions of moons. He has the coolness of millions of moons. This is Lord Nityananda Prabhu. So with this, I stop and see if there are any questions or comments. Yes, Prabhu. Okay, so is there any anartha that can disqualify ourselves from getting the mercy of Lord Nityananda? It is not anartha, rather aparat. Aparat can be a problem in devotee's life. So it is mentioned that Jagai and Madai did so many kinds of offenses, but it is mentioned they didn't do Vaishnava aparat. It is mentioned by the Acharya. They didn't do Vaishnava aparat. And also they got the mercy of Lord Chaitanya also, because they were dancing to the kirtan. When Gauranga Mahaprabhu was performing kirtan, they were drunk, but they were dancing. They were having a good time. Like when you go for Harinam, drunken people, they dance. Similarly, they were dancing, so they got the mercy. But aparat is a problem. So it's not, so that's a real problem, aparat. It's not anartha, but aparat. Aparat can be a problem. So offending devotees can hold back the mercy of the Lord. So we had to be careful about aparat, Vaishnava aparat. Yeah. Yes.
Thank you for the nice class, Prabhu. We hear those amazing transformations, like for Jaga and Madai, which sort of was very instant.
Yeah.
And then also we hear all those other great personalities that Mahaprabhu was preaching to, and a lot of the transformation has seemed really instant.
Yeah.
And even when Prabhupada started this movement, you can see a lot of devotees, they actually became devotees instant. They started chanting 16 rounds just in a day.
Yes.
These days, in most places in the world, and also for most of us, it's not instant. It takes an entire lifetime. So why is it like that? It appears that the mercy is less now in that sense.
It is like when we start off a movement, or when they show the mercy, there is a special empowerment. There is a special empowerment by the Lord. When there are empowered representatives of the Lord to start the mission, they demonstrate more potency, or they show that it can happen. So many devotees were attracted instantly by Srila Prabhupada. It was a matter of short time, but you could see the movement started. So the reason is, for the starting, we need something like that. So otherwise there is no one will notice that the movement is started. So it is arrangement of the Lord. And of course for that there is a special empowered Acharya came, that is Srila Prabhupada. So he attracted everyone. Prabhupada himself gives an analogy, just like when a lion roars very loud in the forest, everyone, the whole forest, is shaken. Everyone understands, okay, there is someone, and people can just come out. In the same way, when an empowered Acharya speaks, like Srila Prabhupada, then it's very potent. And that is one power of Srila Prabhupada and arrangement of the Lord, so that this movement can be started. Then what happens is, that is the starting. Now, then it is a kind of establishing, and there is a maintenance, kind of, we have something. When we came, there was already a temple. We didn't pioneer to build this temple, it is already there. When the devotees came here initially, they were doing the pioneering service of building this temple, laying down each and every marble here, and constructing these all pillars, decorating this building. So initially, the mood is different. That is a pioneering mood. That mood is quite different compared to now what we are. We have given everything. So then the problem is we can take it for granted. We think, yeah, everything is there. So this is the time really we need mercy. If there is complacency, then we need to really pray so that we can do something. So it is not impossible and it can take time, but if we consider the time span, a few years is nothing. You can see part of the world, there are preaching, everywhere devotees are being made, in many places. So in Srila Prabhupada's time, there weren't many devotees in India, if you think about. There were many devotees in the West, and there weren't many devotees in India. Only a handful to start with. There were supporters, but there weren't initiated devotees. Now if you see India, there are so many devotees. Here also there are so many devotees from the Indian background. So things are changing, but still the mercy is flowing. So it's just a matter of time. Our responsibility is to stick to it, not to give up, and keep trying. So we are in different phases. So in different phases, we see different things happening. But again, it's all mercy of the Lord. Hare Krishna. Okay. Any comment from any? Prana Prabhu, would you like to give any comment or any?
Just on that point, Prabhu, about the mercy. One time we were hearing from Shyamasundar Prabhu in Auckland, and he was telling the stories of the early days in ISKCON, and stories of $100 bills flying out in the sky and picking them up to pay the rent, and all the famous stories of the mercy, just showering from the sky. And then at the end of that session, he gave 2 or 3 sessions with Mukunda Maharaj, and he said their mercy is still here today. The same mercy that we got in the 26 Avenue and in Hyde-Ashbury in San Francisco is still here today. It's still here in ISKCON. The same, and like we have the miracle on 26 Avenue, Mukunda Maharaj's book, and they talk about the miracle of Krishna consciousness. Like you said, the starting of Krishna consciousness was a very special time, a pioneering time, and very special. But we should also consider that mercy is available to everybody at every time. At every stage of the movement, the mercy is always there. It's not that it's only available at a certain time and it's more available then, but it's always available. We just have to connect with that mercy. And it might be through a different means, and the mercy may appear differently. It might not be that it's $100 bills flying down the sky. We might not need those. We might have so many $100 bills in our bank account, but the mercy comes to us through different channels, and we have to be receptive to access that mercy, and then to continue in the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the mood of Lord Nityananda, to capitalize on that mercy and to give that mercy to others. And the more we give that mercy to others, the more we appreciate, and the more we acknowledge that, the more we appreciate that mercy, the more we become open for that mercy, to receive that mercy. So that was something that I thought of to add to the mercy of today's Savananda Karam Param, that Lord Nityananda, he's glorified that he's giving Sarvananda Param, he gives the Devam, he gives joy to everybody. He's always giving that joy. And Harinama Paradam Devam, he gives the holy name, and he is the most extraordinary Sharomani of the Avaduta Brahmanas, of the sannyasis, he's the most, of all Paramahamsas, Lord Nityananda is the most merciful, and he can give the most mercy, and we don't have the capacity to receive enough mercy from Lord Nityananda. So we need to tune in to get onto that frequency of the mercy waves of Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Panchatattva, because they really plundered the ocean, that they plundered the storehouse of love of Godhead. And in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, at the beginning of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, you'll read, I think, in the 5th or 6th chapter, early in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, that Krishna appeared, when Krishna appeared in this material world, he came with full love of Godhead, and he came with full mercy to give everybody the mercy. But it remained sealed. The Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami uses the word sealed. It remains sealed within Krishna's avatar. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appears with Nityananda Prabhu, they broke the seal of love of Godhead. And when they broke the seal of love of Godhead, it inundated the world, and inundates the world, and continues to inundate the world through the mercy of the Panchatattva. So that's right.
Yeah, thank you. We can see now, by the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, TOVP project is, progressing. Prabhu.
Just want to share.
Yeah.
Usually, we all go on Harinam, and one time, usually, when I go on Harinam, I don't feel the enthusiasm. I feel tired or something. And every time I understand that when I sing the Panchatattva prayers, and then I'm still feeling there's not enough devotees or something or the other, my mind is not getting into the Harinam. And so then I pray to Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya, say, please, you're the owner, I'm not anything. Then I chant this Nitai Gauranga, Jaya Sachinandana, and suddenly I feel some enthusiasm comes. I'm just telling this is what happens. So we chant the Prabhupada Pranam, and then we chant this Panchatattva Pranam. This is the system Prabhupada gave us. And so when we need to sing that Panchatattva prayers very sincerely to Lord Nityananda and Gauranga to enthuse us. And as a leader, we also have to inspire others. If we are sleeping and we not have that enthusiasm, others will pick up on that, and then they don't feel inspired. So I always pray, and suddenly I feel there's fire. It's not always the material body's energy; it's actually spiritual energy, and that's why you were saying, Vrindavan Das Thakur. He went as an elderly man all the way to Vrindavan. The spiritual energy. And the same goes for us. If we have the enthusiasm, Lord Nityananda actually bless us to carry on with our service. Just want to share.
Yeah. Thank you. I just share a trick before we stop. I was hearing a lecture of my spiritual master, and he was giving a talk to a wider audience, and someone asked a similar question. When we have really bad thoughts, for sense gratification is really haunting us, it's just very strong, and we feel completely helpless, and we are out there, we are not sitting in the temple or anything, we are out there, then what to do? So he told a trick. He said, you call out loudly the names of Lord Nityananda, but loudly, but not using the sound inside. Inside you call out for Lord Nityananda very loudly within. Not allowed, because if you are walking around or if you somewhere else, you cannot call out loudly. We are not avadhuta, we cannot do that. So call out loudly within. He said, it's for sure those desires will be gone away. So it's a trick we can all apply. Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Nityananda Trayodasi Mahamahotsav ki jai, Eka Chakra Dham ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hare Hare Bol, Hare Krishna. Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Samveda Gaura Bhaktivedanta ki jai.